There is one question that I get asked all the time that I want to definitively answer right now. Can you use GarageBand on a Windows PC? No, you cannot install GarageBand on Windows, full stop. The good news is that there is an alternative out there that is not only completely free, but also has a straightforward beginner-friendly interface, comes with loads of high-quality instruments and sounds, and even has a few tricks up its sleeve that GarageBand doesn't. Hey, it's Patrick. In this video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at BandLab. For my money, the best GarageBand alternative for Windows users, and maybe for Mac users as well. More on that a wee bit later on. To me anyway, in terms of layout and features, BandLab seems to be heavily influenced by GarageBand, and that is a good thing. It means that everything is laid out in a straightforward way and is dead easy to get to grips with. Now, if I was to ask you what the defining features of GarageBand are, why you want to use it to create in the first place, what would they be? The huge selection of high-quality software instruments? The dedicated guitar amp and pedals, maybe? What about the thousands of royalty-free loops? Or maybe it's the auto drummer? Chances are it's one or all of those. If not, let me know down in the comments, yeah. What's interesting is that BandLab has pretty much all of that as well. Let's take a look. When you first come to bandlab.com, you'll be prompted to sign up. Once that's done, you'll be taken to your feed. This kind of works like a mini social media platform where you can follow creators that you like and you'll see what they're working on pop up in your feed. As you can see, I'm following everybody's favourite Antipodean heartthrob, so I see Pete's posts here. Clicking the Create button in the top right will take you to a new project, and it's worth noting that this all happens in your browser. There's no need to download or install any additional software here. In the project window, you'll notice things look pretty familiar. All your transport controls are along the top. Your ruler with a cycle section is here. There's an automation button, and in the top left, an add track button. Clicking that opens this window where you can choose between 6 different track types: instruments, drum machine, sampler, voice/audio, guitar audio, and bass audio. Clicking on instrument will open an instrument track. Down at the bottom of the BandLab screen, this instrument window will open too, where you can either play the loaded instrument with an attached MIDI controller or with your typing keyboard. The keys are all handily labelled for you. Clicking on the instrument menu will give you access to dozens of built-in instrument sounds that range from synth leads to 808s, to vocal synths, and lovely piano sounds. Next to the Instrument tab in the bottom left of the screen is the Effects tab. From here, you can either click Add Effect to select from the huge number of built-in effects, or click this drop-down to choose from some effect presets. These presets group together several individual effects for a more dramatic result. I really like the way that BandLab handles effects. It's very reminiscent of Ableton Live if you've ever used that program before. The fact that you can access all of your effects controls without having to select them individually is great. Anyway, you can just hit record to record something. There's a built-in metronome that will keep you right timing-wise as well. Once you've recorded your MIDI instrument, you can fine-tune it with the third button in the bottom left, the MIDI editor. From here, you can affect your recorded notes manually, you can adjust velocity, apply quantization, and more. So that's BandLab's MIDI instruments. How does it handle audio recording? BandLab has separate track types for guitars and bass, but they both work in pretty much the same way. If you have an audio interface attached, you'll be able to select it from this menu in the bottom left of the screen. With the Source tab selected, you can monitor your input level with the graphic in the middle here. The FX tab works the same way here as it does on a MIDI instrument track. You can build your own effects chain or use the presets menu to access some ready-made collections. The tones menu here gives you access to some really good guitar sounds. Once you've recorded your audio, you can edit the track via the Editor tab. The editing options for audio tracks differ from the instrument editor window, giving you pitch shifting, playback rate, and reverse options to play with. When it comes to creating a rhythm section, BandLab doesn't include a like-for-like version of GarageBand for Mac's drummer feature. Instead, when you click on Drum Machine from the track selection menu, you'll gain access to a fully featured step sequencer. You can click anywhere in the drum machine grid in the bottom of the screen to add a hit from one of the 8 percussion instruments available. What's more, you can change any of the 8 out at any time by clicking on the drop down next to their image. In the instrument menu on the left, you can select from the dozens of electronic and acoustic drum kits available. And the FX tab works in exactly the same way as before. All of this means you have a huge amount of control over how your drum beat sounds. It's very much like the beat sequencer found in the iOS version of GarageBand, and to many folks they might find that more useful than a built-in auto drummer. If loop jams are more your thing, BandLab has thousands of included sounds for you to get to grips with. Click on BandLab Sounds in the bottom right of the screen to open this Sounds menu. From here, you can search for loops based on what's popular right now. You can search for loop packs via the Packed tab and narrow your search down by defining specific genres or moods. You can search for individual loops or one-shots by clicking on their tabs here as well. When you've found a loop you like the sound of, you can just drag and drop it straight into your project from the browser. Alright, circling back to what I suggested were GarageBand's defining features. The software instruments guitar amps and pedals, loops and rhythm sections. As I've shown, BandLab can do all of that too, just as well and in a couple of cases better than GarageBand does. It also has a couple of features that GarageBand doesn't offer. Built-in collaboration tools, an AI-powered song idea generator, and free instant online audio mastering. If you want me to take a closer look at any of those features, let me know down in the comments. I'll be completely honest, when BandLab reached out and asked if I wanted to check out their DAW for this video, I went in feeling pretty skeptical. I've come away being genuinely really impressed with what BandLab offers their users. So if you're a Windows user who's gutted because you can't run GarageBand on your machine, then don't worry, BandLab is an, at the very least, just as good free alternative. And if you're a Mac user who's interested in trying BandLab out, I would highly recommend it. I had loads of fun with this thing. Either way, check the linky in the dinky or the pinned comment below to give BandLab a whirl. Alright, click this playlist next for my picks for the best budget audio production gear in the world.